Welcome in to the Punt and Pass podcast. I'm your host, Drew Butler, joined alongside my co-host, Jake Fromm. Be sure to follow us on social media at Punt and Pass on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Drew Butler. He is at Fromm. Jake, check out puntandpass.com, the number one destination for all things college football. Jake, the wait is over. Week one is here. We have action. From Thursday until Monday night, it's Labor Day weekend, huge kickoff games, top 5 matchups, top 10 matchups, top 15 matchups. I am so excited to finally be talking about football. How are you, my man?
Dude, let's go. It's here. Man, what a great weekend.
Yes.
Labor Day weekend. Let's get it started. Let's put that Rectech on the grill.
Yep.
Put some meat on the grill. Let's go. Let's go shoot some doves and let's watch some football all day long.
Yes. Speaking of Rectech, Jody Flanagan at BBQ Dad Jody, the PR expert for Rectech, actually joins us later on in the show. He's going to give you a great game plan for what to do on Labor Day weekend. Nothing better than grilling out, watching football. If you're going to the game this weekend, you will be able to head out to the Rectech activation. We'll touch on that in just a little bit. Before we dive into this episode, though, we have to let you know that this episode is presented by our awesome partners at Prize Picks. That is right. It's season 6 of Punt and Pass. You knew Prize Picks was coming back for more. Head on over to prizepicks.com, download the Prize Picks app, and use the promo code PUNT. P-U-N-T, PUNT. Guess what that does for you, Jake? If you use the promo code PUNT when you sign up on Prize Picks, you get a 100% deposit match up to your first $100. That, my friends, is called free money. You have to try Prize Picks. It's the leading over-under fantasy game. Just download the app, pick over or under on your favorite players, and enjoy the show. You can make your picks in under 30 seconds and win up to 10 times your money in one day. And best of all, like I just said, is that you sign up now using the promo code PUNT, P-U-N-T, PUNT. Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. At Prize Picks on social media, prizepicks.com. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code PUNT. Jake and I will give you our Prize Picks later on in the show. Shout out to Prize Picks. Love the guys at Prize Picks, man, and they are absolutely crushing it. So I'm so thrilled that they're back, Jake, for season 6 of Punt and Pass, and finally, the season is here. Let's go 3 and out. We'll start with first down. It's something that you text me about right after we finished our episode earlier in the week. You're like, dude, I cannot believe that this news just dropped. That is called the Punt and Pass typical situation, because whenever something big happens, it's right after we record. But first down this week is that Jim Harbaugh, of course, has now explained why he is doing the dual quarterback starts in week 1 and week 2. McNamara in week 1, McCarthy in week 2. And he said it's biblical. So, Jake, thoughts as a former quarterback? I need to hear your thoughts on this. I know that you have a lot of thinking to do here.
Yeah. So, like we said last week, I respect, him coming out and saying, hey, this is how we're doing it. I don't like the way he's doing it. I clicked on the article, we went through reading, and a lot of people, trying to digest it and, hey, what's he referencing here? He's going back to Solomon, and they thought he was referencing where King Solomon's talking about cutting a baby in half to figure out who's the mother. And, anyway,
is that what he was referencing?
No. He was referencing in Ecclesiastes 4. Okay. And it's really a marriage passage. So,
gotcha.
Hey, we love, that he's trying to reference the Bible.
Yes.
Slightly out of context. It's talking about marriage. Now, the verses he's referencing is this: Ecclesiastes 4, 9 through 12. Well, it's really 9 through 10. 2 are better than 1, for they have good rewards for their efforts. You've heard this one before. And then it keeps on going. If either of them falls, the other is there to pick them up.
Gotcha.
However, the verse continues. Also, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep the other warm alone? Verse 12, though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. So anyway, slightly out of context. We'll give him some grace here. Love that he's trying to put it in. But yeah, hope those guys, hey,
I
two,
mean,
and
yes,
so in some references, two is definitely better than one.
for sure.
But I hopefully they're not lying down together anytime soon.
Yeah, there's a lot left up for interpretation with how you
Absolutely.
read the lines of those passages. But you just said it, like it's well intentioned.
Yeah, well
It's
intended.
interesting he went down that route with the media when those types of statements can be misconstrued by the beholder,
Yep.
whoever is reading those said verses within the Bible. But it made me think, is this something that you think could be a future scenario for quarterbacks? Like if it works out, do you think coaches, if they have a lesser schedule early on in the season, will come out and say, you know what, we have two good guys. We talked about the transfer portal situation
Yep.
on the podcast earlier this week, like to keep them on the hook as long as you possibly can. Is this something that could become a trend in the future? Week one, give it to one guy. Week two, give it to another, and then see what happens and make a call after week three?
If it works, potentially,
Okay.
I wouldn't like to see it. I love, picking a guy, sticking with them, staying behind your guns, but that's just the way it is now. You
Yeah.
got to kind of pander to these guys a little bit, keep them on board because you're so scared of the transfer portal, and it's changing college football a little bit.
All right. So since you've joined Punt and Pass, so many people have asked me, they're like, I want to hear what Jake has to say about always having to look behind his back while at UGA. Tons of success. Y'all won a ton of football games, but every single week in the media, it's always talked about, even still with Stetson Bennett. It's like,
Oh yeah.
what's up with the quarterback position? Who's going to play this week? Are they going to pull him if he's playing bad? If he turns the ball over to somebody else coming in? Think of your situation at Georgia. How would you have liked it if the biblical aspect of what Jim Harbaugh is doing was presented? Like if Kirby told you, hey, you know what? In 2018, you had just took Georgia to a national championship. They were like, week one, it's from. Week two, it's Fields. We'll see what happens after that. What would you guys have said?
Yeah, honestly, if he went down that road, arguably, Justin would have had a few more opportunities, and who knows? I mean, the story could have been written a completely different way. So glad that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
At least Coach Smart was always pretty straight up, with us about how it
Okay.
would go. However, I didn't like, hey, I'm in the middle of a drive, and then all of a sudden, hey, we're going to throw Justin in for a
Yeah.
QB run. I didn't like it, man. I was in my groove.
Of
I was
course.
with the guys, man. Let me roll. Let me go beat me, and I promise I'll handle it and take care of it for you.
Yeah, and that's any competitor,
Right.
especially when you're a quarterback and everything is rhythm, everything is momentum, everything is getting in the groove of play call. So I totally understand that. When that happened, did it feel like, was it just more so annoying slash frustrating? Annoying is the wrong word. Was it more so frustrating, or was it like, God, if I get in there or if he does really well, am I ever going to get back in the game? Does that doubt ever creep into your head when you were playing?
I mean, if
Ish.
frustrating, yes.
Yeah.
But the second half of your question, I mean, there's always that chance.
Yeah. I know.
I
It's
mean,
crazy.
you never
Yeah.
know. I
It's
mean,
mental warfare.
yeah. I mean, quarterbacks don't come off the field. I mean, that's not normal. At least as a receiver, going into the week, there's different packages, there's different
Mhm.
plays. You're gonna find a way to get back on the field somehow. But
Mhm.
as a quarterback, I mean, you never know. And that
No.
could be it.
You're right. I promise you, people ask me all the time, like, ask Jake about that. I want to know what that was like. I want to hear what he thinks about. So we appreciate your insight. That is unique. And again, you did a lot at Georgia. You got a lot of rings to prove it. So just it seems like that talking point never ever leaves Georgia, and it won't be any difference this year, even with Stetson having led the team to a national championship. So we'll see. But appreciate your insights there on the Michigan QB fiasco, how it moves forward. We'll be able to tell you right here on the Punt and
Absolutely.
Pass podcast. All right, quickly, second down, little speed up to the line of scrimmage here. I saw this. I was digging around for news and notes, couldn't really find any. Everybody's focused on the games. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. But the Big 12 is starting TV contract negotiations a year early. We talked about it in the first two episodes. College football is literally changing by the day. And if you look at conference realignment, if you look at what's happening with the Big 12, the Pac 12, the ACC, they're jockeying to get into position to literally stay alive. So a year early, the Big 12 is already in calls with ESPN and Fox, and they're starting to compete with the Pac 12 to see who has more value from TV partners, who can generate the most revenue. Why? Because then they're going to start seeing who wants to come join. Keep in mind, 4 teams are joining the Big 12 when Texas and Oklahoma jump. It's Houston, it's Cincinnati, it's BYU, and it's Central Florida. So if they do strike a big deal and they are competing with the Pac-12, then they can open it up even more. Maybe go to some more group of 5 teams, maybe go to an ACC school and pick one off. But this is a move strictly, Jake, to attract new potential members, see what the market will pay the Big 12. And if you think about those markets in the state of Texas, up throughout the Midwest, branching out to the West, now to the East with these new school partners, the TV money in college football is astronomical. It's only going to grow. And
It's
these guys do
ridiculous.
not want to be left behind. So any thoughts there? Like, I can promise you this, no players are thinking about this, and probably no coaches are thinking about this either. It's all left up to the administrators, and it's left up to the fans to ponder and think about what could be next.
Yeah, I mean, the players, the coaches for sure, they got to control what they can control. They're not too worried about it. And then, it's just led up to the big wigs. The money's coming from the TV companies to the conferences, back to the schools, and whoever's got the most is just going to be, more intriguing, more enticing. And man, money's talking right now, especially in college football.
Is. Yes, it is. I saw Kirk Herbstreit had a couple of words about the state of NIL, just like the state of college football in general before the season. And he was talking about collectives and collectives bidding on prospective student athletes and how that's not how NIL was intended. And I, of course, agree with that. I think NIL was intended for endorsement deals with athletes, whatever athlete. You don't have to be Bryce Young or Stetson Bennett or Will Anderson. You could be a backup basketball player with a kick-ass YouTube channel and now monetize it. That's what NIL really is. When they start talking about rev sharing, okay, I know people are trying to get there. Let me just tell you one thing, Jake. You were in the NFL last year. You're probably a part of the NFL Players Association, which you have to pay to be a member of, okay? I think people are putting the cart before the horse when it comes to student athletes being employees, student athletes earning revenue shares from some of these TV contracts. I just don't see how they get there. I think we talked about this in the kickoff episode. I just do not see how they get there. It is such a complicated issue. Should they get there? Yeah, probably. How they structure it, I have no earthly idea. That is way over my head, Jake. I know everybody listening to this knows and thinks I'm the smartest person in the room. But that's not the case. I'm just here to break the bad news to you. That's not the case. I don't have the answer. But I agree with Kirk Herbstreit that NIL, and I think that's the sustainable way. Endemic brand endorsement deals with student athletes from every walk of life, at every school, in every corner of this great country to see and capitalize on the value of their name, image, and likeness. But these TV contract negotiations just makes you think, where is the sport going? And you know where it's going? Towards the money, Jake. You said it. Money talks and
Absolutely.
BS takes the bus, as Jordan Belfort says in The Wolf of Wall Street. All right, third down. Neutral site games. I just wanted to touch on this. I'd love your thoughts. You and I have played in neutral site games. That, of course, being Georgia, Florida. I don't know if you played in a kickoff game. I don't believe you did. Did you? No, I don't
think so.
Do you love them or do you hate them? I think if Oregon was going to Athens this weekend, or if Georgia were going to Eugene, that is a game changer. That is so awesome. You get to experience amazing cultures and stadiums and campuses. But think about this: Georgia, Oregon, Florida State, LSU, Georgia Tech, Clemson, and then last week, Nebraska, Northwestern over in Dublin, Ireland. Love or hate neutral site games? Talk to me.
Gosh, I was on the train of I kind of like the neutral site games. It's a tasteful touch.
Yeah.
And then, you started, putting that imagery in my head of, Oregon coming to Athens, or, the Dogs going up there to Eugene. I mean, that would be an unbelievable experience. Take our Notre Dame series,
yes.
Unbelievable. Take that situation. I mean, that was awesome.
The home
all
and
our
home
fans
with Notre
go
Dame.
up there. And then, they come down here. I mean, that was an incredible experience. So I like them. They're a tasteful touch, but also you don't get those unique experiences that only come, once every couple of years. Yeah. I mean,
I totally agree. Think about the Belk Bowl last year, Georgia, Belk Kickoff Classic, Georgia Clemson. Like, that game was in Charlotte. That game should have been at Clemson. That game should have been in Athens. I just think I get it. Again, why are they doing it? Because of the money. Wake up. It all comes down to money. That is the way of the world, especially in 2022. But one of the things that people always talk about is that Georgia's never been to College Station. Texas A&M has been in the SEC for 10 years now. Yeah. And they've never been out to College Station. They've had to go around and create the home and homes with Ohio State in the future, with Texas and Oklahoma before they join the SEC with UCLA, which is way in the future. So I like a general home and home, like Georgia, Florida. I guess Jacksonville is a dump. We all know that, but
yeah. Well, I for the argument, now take this argument from the coach's perspective. I know from their perspective that they would rather it be a home and home,
of course,
because they lose an opportunity, or they lose a recruiting weekend.
Yes.
And that's where they see it.
Absolutely.
So they would love to have that weekend back, especially say Florida, say Oregon. That is a huge weekend. I remember back when I was in high school and I was a recruit going to the Georgia Clemson game, seeing Todd Gurley return it back 102 yards to the house. You know what I mean? That was awesome.
Were you committed to Bama then, or were you committed to Georgia then?
I was still like in 9th, 10th grade.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was young.
You're young.
Yeah.
Jeez, you're young. Did you ever visit Florida? Like, I've never been to the Swamp ever.
I visited a couple times. I never went and watched a game there.
Okay.
But I like take that. I would love to. I would love to have seen that, or go be a part and play there too.
What's the difference? What's the difference for me? Losing by 40 to Tebow in Jacksonville, or getting beat by 45 or 50 in Gainesville? The experience. I need the experience.
I don't know about you, but I started this, this segment where I was like, I kind of like the the neutral site games, and then I've talked myself out of, man, I'm all in on the home and homes.
All right. You said it was a tasteful touch at first, didn't you? You said it was a tasteful touch.
I think it was a tasteful touch. However, I don't know if I quite agree with that anymore.
However, all right. Well, Jake Fromm, tasteful touch. You know what else is a tasteful touch?
Talk to me.
RecTech, no question. And guess who we have right now? We just went 3 and out. I would love to introduce you officially to Mr. Jody Flanagan. He is at BBQ Dad Jody on Twitter and Instagram, the PR expert for RecTech. And Jody will be at the live activation outside Gate 2 on the pavilion, directly outside Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where RecTech is going to have an official event before the Georgia-Oregon game. So listen to this interview. Thank you so much, Jody, for joining us. I think you guys will really enjoy it. Get ready for some football, some barbecue, and an amazing Labor Day weekend. Here he is, Jody Flanagan. All right, we are so thrilled to be joined by none other than Jody Flanagan at BBQ Dad Jody on social media. He is the PR expert for RecTech. RecTech obviously has been an unbelievable presenting sponsor of the Punt and Pass podcast, leading in to the 2022 college football season, which of course kicks off this weekend. Jody, thanks so much for being with us. I guess to start, we've been talking about it for the past couple of weeks. Let everybody know where you and the RecTech team are going to be outside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium this weekend.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? Jody with RecTech here. We're going to be right outside of Gate 2 of the Benz, hanging out at the Chick-fil-A college football kickoff pavilion, I guess you could call it. Just right outside Gate 2. You can't miss us. We're going to have the RecTech flags flying. And of course, that beautiful thin blue smoke is going to be around there. You can't miss us. You can't miss the smell. We're going to be cooking up some delicious pork butts.
Yes.
And we'll have some UGA alum coming by, so we have some special food for them. Hopefully we can pry Drew and Jake away from what they've got going on. But we'll be right outside Gate 2, signing folks up to win one of the tailgating packages. It's going to be your choice if you're the winner. So we'd love to have you come by. We'll love to get your email, and we'll get you signed up, and possibly get you one of those tailgating bundles that we got Jake and Drew there. So you guys are liking it so far?
Man, it's unbelievable. We got the RT 1250 home gate bundle, and it is fantastic. Jake, we talked about it. You were about to go assemble yours after the podcast earlier this week. I did mine over the weekend, and Jody, it's the best. It's absolutely the best. I mean, there is nothing better. Tell us where you're at right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see where Jody's at. The setup he has behind him is elite, as we like to call it, for sure. Tell us what you got going on here.
Yeah, so I'm live right here from the RecTech deck. I'm at the RecTech Worldwide headquarters here in Augusta, Georgia, just right up the road from Athens. But, there's a couple of things that Augusta is known for. First and foremost is RecTech, but of course the second thing is the beautiful Augusta National.
There you go.
But yeah, this is our setup. We cook, literally every day here to feed our employees, to feed folks that are coming up and hanging out with us daily. We also do live cooking demonstrations for the folks in our retail area, but live on social media Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you guys follow at RecTech on anything and everything, you'll be able to see that. And if you also want to receive an email on what we're doing and when we're doing it, sign up for that at rectech.com.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been obviously talking about RecTech quite a bit over the past couple of weeks. And one of the things that people always tell me is you have to go check out RecTech HQ in Evans, Georgia. So is that can you just come by? Is it closer to the weekend, or could I come by at Monday at 10 a.m.? What's that look like for our listeners?
Yeah, no, we're here Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So they can come up. We're at 4301 Evans to Locks Road in Evans, Georgia. That's 30809 zip code. Right up the road from the Augusta National, literally.
Sweet.
But you can literally come in. This is, we're on 80 acres, and we're in a 650,000 square foot facility.
Phenomenal.
We've got,
we've got awesome.
Right, it's crazy. We got a garden on site. We've got beehives on site. We have a movie night one Friday every month where we have a giant movie screen that we purchased. We park it up in the parking lot there, and you can actually do a drive-up movie style. We've got food trucks that come up here during that as well. Our RecTech Fest annual customer appreciation is held up here on the 80 acres. Last year we had 8,500 folks come and hang out with us during the day. But no, back to what you were saying, Drew. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 7, and then Saturdays 9 to 3. We also have another location in Lehi, Utah. It's not as large, but you can come and put your hands on the grills and see them, feel them, touch them. They cook there daily as well. So those are our two retail locations now. We're hoping to expand those.
Absolutely. All right. So Labor Day weekend's on deck. Absolutely nothing better than college football and smoking some meats. I mean, RecTech is the only way to do it. So what is your game plan? Clearly you're going to be in Atlanta, but I watch your content. I've sent you messages on the side and go, dude, at BBQ Dad Jody, there's no better follow in the barbecue game.
Yeah,
what's your go-to? What is your go-to this weekend? And what do you love to do most on the RecTech?
So it might not be, everybody's favorite thing, or, 9 times out of 10, if I get an email or a call about it, folks are worried about the brisket, and brisket is always my go-to because I never mess it up. The grill does all the work. Literally all I do is season it and throw it on at 250 degrees. I come back in 10 hours. I check it with my thermometer. If it's not probe tender, I close the lid and I come back in another hour and I check it again. The grill literally does all the work for me. And when I slice it and take it to a party, everybody always oohs and ahs over, oh, what'd you do? What was your process? And of course I drag out the story.
Cool.
I did this and that. And, I called my buddy Jake Fromm and he gave me some cooking tips about it. And, but hands down, it's got to be brisket because it's just so easy. Everybody that I talk to, I'm just so intimidated by it. I don't want to spend that amount of money, but do it, because the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it and the better it's going to taste. But I promise you, you're going to be surprised with the results. You're going to be surprised with yourself. And you're going to be impressed with the machine, after you cook that brisket, after you go ahead and pull that trigger. And then, second, it's got to be wings. Folks, are the wings are a favorite at the cookout. So folks out there love chicken wings when you bring them. You make up a couple of different sauces. You bring the wings plain, you make a couple of different sauces, and then you've got 3 options for people. Well, actually 4, plain wings and then 3 different sauces. So those are my 2 favorite go-tos for the cookout because they're super easy and folks rave over them. And essentially the grill did all the work. So
I absolutely love it. Yeah. Follow RecTech on social media at RecTech_official, rectech.com, RecTeq.com. All right, Jody, what is your college allegiance? Are you a Dogs fan? I mean, we got to think about some football.
Yeah, I'm a huge Dogs fan.
Okay.
Huge Dogs fan. My stepdad, who's no longer with us, was a tried and true red and black all the way. He's got a couple of bricks up there. So Dogs fan all the way. And it's actually an honor getting to speak with you guys because my stepdad was a huge fan when you guys were actually playing.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So that's a cool thing. So, but huge Dogs fan, but I went to Georgia Southern.
Okay.
So hail Southern.
There
I'm a big Irv Russell fan. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but that's me. So that's who I'm watching this weekend. And of course, my allegiance is tried and true to the Braves. Don't want to talk too much about them, but they've got a couple of games this weekend. I might sneak off
There you go.
Up to Truist Park too. But go Dogs, man. We're gonna have another good season. It's exciting.
No doubt. All right. So before we let you go, we have to ask, what's your score prediction? Georgia, Oregon, number 11 against number 3, defending national champions, neutral site. Lots of storylines. I mean, Jody Flanagan, tell us what the score is going to be.
Absolutely. A lot of smack talking from folks in Oregon, but we're going to be playing Duck Hunt at the RecTech activation, old
Let's
school
go.
Nintendo style.
Sweet.
I've already bought it. I've already hooked it up. I've tested it. It's going to be good to go. But it's going to be easy win for the Dogs. 27-3. Oregon, they're going to get down. They're going to get down there. They're going to get down there, but unfortunately, that strong Georgia defense is going to stop them. They'll be able to kick a field goal. But that's about it. But 27-3, easy win for the Dogs. We're just going to roll on to next week. Easy peasy.
I love it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, as my man Jody Flanagan says. Jody, thank you so much for your support of the Punt and Pass podcast. We will be giving away the bundle next week. I'm sending you the email list. We have had over 1,000 entries, which is really exciting. Nice. So we will allow you to pick the winner, randomized, of course, and then we'll announce it next week. But rectech.com, at rectech_official on social media, and he is none other than at BBQ Dad Jody. So Jody Flanagan, thank you so much. I will see you on Saturday, my man. Thanks for the follow, everybody, and can't wait to see you, Drew. And Jake, man, it's an honor. I got your jersey in my closet right now. It's the craziest thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
So cool to talk to you.
Yeah, man. Thanks,
you.
Great to meet you. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Jody.
Y'all hit me up if you need anything.
All right,
yes,
brother.
sir.
So great to have Jody Flanagan join us on the Punt and Pass podcast. Jody's been awesome. Come hang out before the Georgia-Oregon kickoff if you're around Mercedes-Benz Stadium this weekend. You have to check out these RecTechs. They are so sick. And then go to puntandpass.com and make sure that you enter the giveaway. It's the last weekend. We're closing it down after Saturday night. Included in that giveaway is a RecTech RT1250 wood pellet smoker, a grill cover, a 20-quart RecTech icer cooler, 80 pounds of RecTech Ultimate Blend wood pellets, and a rub and sauce bundle. Biggest giveaway we've ever done. So awesome. Thank you to RecTech. All right, Jake, we've gone 3 and out. We talked to Jody Flanagan. We're getting everybody dialed in for an awesome Labor Day weekend of college football action. What is next on this kick-ass episode of Punt and Pass to get people ready for the 2022 season? Let's go back to Prize Picks. Let's give people some winners, some money, so that when you are grilling out and when you are watching football, you have a little action on the game and you are enjoying lining your pockets. This is our official Prize Picks segment. We do it every Thursday throughout the season. And Jake, of course, is new to this entire world. And what Prize Picks is. New world for me, Coach. So fun. It's the best daily fantasy game out there. And if you go to prizepicks.com or download the Prize Picks app, use the promo code PUNT, they will match up to $100 your first deposit. So it's sick. All right. We're going to start with the Georgia-Oregon game. I was looking at Prize Picks earlier. I saw some of the action. Stetson Bennett, a quarterback, nobody better to go to than another quarterback. Here are his stat projections. Jake Fromm on Prize Picks. Over or under 230.5 passing yards for Stetson on Saturday versus Oregon. And then here's one that I thought was really interesting. Over or under 15.5 rushing yards for Stetson Bennett. Keep in mind, in college football, sacks count against rushing yards. So 15.5 rushing yards for Stetson, 230.5 passing yards. What do you like?
So thanks for clarifying the sacks.
Yes, in the NFL it's different, yards. But yes.
Yep. Okay, so that's where I just came from, and I was like, wait a minute, I got to go back and look at this. So I did my own homework before.
Nice.
Now another question, Coach, is this an and? Is this 230 rushing yards or passing yards?
No,
and?
Separate.
Okay, these are separate. Okay. I like Stetson in the over on the passing yards.
Over 230.5.
I do. I like him over on that, and I like him over on the rushing yards.
All righty.
Man, that's a mover, man. He's got a little wiggle to him. I like it.
I like it too. Okay, Jake Fromm says over 230.5 for Stetson in the passing yards, over 15.5. He can scamper. I like that too. And I don't think that line is going to be giving up too many sacks. I think he'll get rid of the ball rather than take a sack. Let's go to the opposite team. Bo Nix, somebody you're very familiar with. His projections on Prize Picks, 185.5 passing yards And then 10.5 rushing yards. Again, a mobile quarterback. It seems like Prize Picks is trying to give out some free money here.
I think so. So I went back, did some homework. Bo versus UGA. Basically,
look at you diving in.
I mean, I'm trying to be good at this. So Bo was over 185 passing yards in every game. I think he was anywhere between like 200 and 250. I think he may have had a 300. I know he was over 200 in every game.
Okay.
So I like Bo in the over in this again.
Okay.
I think they're going to get behind. They're going to have to throw the ball, yada, yada, same old, same old. So there's opportunities there for him to rack up some passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bo scares me on the rushing yard
because he could take like a 40-yard sack.
Oh, Bo! Yeah. I mean, he's such a juggernaut. He'll do it in a heartbeat too. Where he's like he might have 80 yards, rushing in the bag, and then
take a 60-yard loss.
Yeah, just take 2 60-yard sacks, and then you're minus 20. Like, what are we doing? So, but I'm gonna be a little risky. I'm gonna go over in the rushing.
All right, over on both again.
QB's moving.
They are, and I think this game, like you said, late in the game, probably going to be throwing around a lot. Opens up the defense to maybe for a 20-yard scamper. Get out of bounds, keep a drive alive. We'll see what happens, but I like that as well. Kenny McIntosh, 62.5 rushing yards for Georgia. Seems like he'll probably be getting a lot of work. Kendall Milton, of course, has been nursing that hamstring injury. 62.5 rushing yards for Kenny McIntosh.
Yeah, so I love Kenny. Want the best for Kenny. Now, you were there at the scrimmage. I thought they ran the ball okay. It wasn't super dominant. I didn't know if that was the emphasis that day or not. You never know. Kendall, in my opinion, will be healthy. I think he'll be ready to go. I think they'll rotate the guys a little bit. Kenny will be the guy, but I don't think he gets the 62.5.
It's just tough with Georgia because they spread the love so much.
They do.
It comes down to if somebody busts out a big run or not, and we've dealt with it years in the past, but it's fun to look at these and see what you can make of it. But under 62.5, Jake Fromm says for Kenny McIntosh. Brock Bowers, 59.5 receiving yards.
So this was tough too.
Stetson loves Brock, and I don't know if Oregon has anybody who can match up with him. This dude is a baller, folks.
I'm with you on that. But they also in the last scrimmage, I thought they were really trying to push the ball to Darnell a little bit. He's such a huge matchup problem. Not that I think Darnell's going to take anything away from Brock.
Different situations, different parts of the field. Different stuff. I agree.
But Stetson, he like you said, he loves Brock. He's going to be his security blanket, the third down comfort.
Yep.
He's going to go to him. I do like Brock in this. And I think we're going to throw the ball. I think Stetson, it says 230. I would not be surprised if Stetson's at 300 this game.
Okay. Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, here's my lock. Jackson Smith-Njigba from Ohio State against Notre Dame. Primetime, 7:30 p.m., ABC. We're going to touch on this in just a couple of minutes when we go inside the 5.
Yeah.
I have no idea why Notre Dame is ranked top 5. I got no idea, folks. I don't know the last time Notre Dame has won a big game. I don't know how they're going to keep up with the firepower of Ohio State. But C.J. Stroud, Marvin Harrison Jr., Travion Henderson, Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think you know where I'm going when we go inside the 5 here, but over 115.5 receiving yards for Jackson Smith-Njigba. He might have that in the first quarter. I'm telling you that right now, folks. So I'm going over Jackson Smith-Njigba.
That's awesome that's your lock. I saw it. I'm like 115 yards. I had to go back, look at his stat.
What did he do in the Rose Bowl? 300-something yards.
Oh, right? Yeah, that was ridiculous, And then, but his season stats from last year, 95 receptions, 1,600 yards.
Forget about it. That's unbelievable.
If that's in the NFL, that is an incredible year. And that's what Cooper Kupp did last year, which was off the charts.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So, Ohio State's a real problem this year. And, keep in mind, Oregon went into Ohio Stadium and beat them last year. Different ball club, different season. We'll see what happens. Prize Picks is the best, though. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code PUNT. You get a 100% deposit match up to your first $100. Those are some winners right there. We are literally giving you the best Labor Day weekend game plan of all time. Let's go inside the 5. Time to start talking football. Praise be, Jake Fromm. Football is here. Love the slate this weekend. Absolutely love the slate. Starting Thursday night, you got a great revival of the backyard brawl, Pitt and West Virginia. Purdue plays Penn State Thursday night as well. We have Friday action and Saturday, wall-to-wall coverage. Sunday, a game that we're going to touch on. Then, of course, Monday night, Clemson, Georgia Tech. So let's start. We pick 5 games against the spread, usually SEC focused. And then, of course, we go with the biggest games of the week. A top 25 matchup. The American Athletic Conference defending champions who also made it to the college football playoff a year ago. Number 23 ranked Cincinnati heading to Fayetteville to take on number 19 ranked Arkansas. This game is at 3:30 p.m. on ESPN, and Arkansas is a 6.5-point home favorite. The total is at 52 points. This will be a really good game. I'm excited to have the dual screens going or keeping a tab on it. I'll be at the Georgia game. What do you think, Jake?
I think it's a good one. However, I'm very surprised it's not more. They're not giving Arkansas more points here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Arkansas wins it. I think they're over.
Okay.
I think they're running off the momentum from last year.
Yep. Returning KJ Jefferson.
Yeah, I mean, I think KJ's gonna have a good year. Man, they're skill guys. There's a lot of momentum in Arkansas. Love Pittman. Big fan. Let's go Arkansas. Cincinnati replacing a lot of guys, replacing a quarterback and Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
I just, just because you were good last year doesn't mean you're going to be good this year. We can make the same argument for Arkansas. Yeah. However, they're just returning more guys, and so I like them.
Okay. For all those reasons that you just mentioned, I'm taking Cincinnati plus 6.5. Now, here's why. Yes, of course, they are replacing a lot. Desmond Ridder gone. Jerome Ford gone. Alec Pierce, I believe, the wide receiver, gone. Sauce Gardner, top 5 pick in the NFL draft.
Gone.
He's gone as well. But Cincinnati, man, this is a big-time team, right? They want revenge. They really, actually, if you look at it, played Alabama okay in the Cotton Bowl, just a little bit overmatched. They beat Notre Dame in Notre Dame Stadium last year. They know that if they play this game close, the entire season is in front of them. I really like Luke Fickell as a head coach. I just think this game, these first games of the year against good opponents, they tend to be really evenly matched, or at least really evenly played. I might be a little biased. 2 of my guys at Icon Source are Cincy guys. Shout out Mick Hamilton and Jake Sopko. They're giving me the intel. I'm going to take the points here. Give me the 6.5 points. I think Arkansas might be drinking a little bit too much of their own Kool-Aid. This game's going to be closer than people think. So I'm on the dog here. I think Arkansas wins, but I think it's going to be within 6.5 points. All right. Let's stay at 3:30. Number 11, Oregon, heading to Atlanta to take on the 3rd-ranked Georgia Bulldogs, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. ABC, my boy Sean McDonough on the call. Cannot wait for this one. Georgia, a 17.5-point favorite. The total has ticked up to 53.5. Jake, talk to me. Talk to me, my man.
So I'm battling this in my head. So I have a score prediction in my head, and it's like an either or.
I love it. Yes, I totally understand.
It's 34-17 or it's 38-17.
Okay.
And whether it's 34 or 38, okay, we either get the spread and the over, or not. So it's tough. I think it's going to be closer. I really do. So I'm going to go 34-17 where
the
Georgia
hook comes in.
Yeah, where they don't cover, and it's technically the under.
Yes.
So going against the grain here.
You know what? This line is so big, and
it's a lot.
Agree with you. Okay.
I go back to the Clemson game.
I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. 17.5 points.
That's a lot.
Is a lot. Georgia has notoriously been covering big spreads over the past couple of years, but this is different.
Easy now. Did you see that stat?
Which one was that?
The one where we didn't.
Was what? Did I miss something?
Was my fault. 2019. We played South Carolina.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the blame
that up.
Yeah, the blame can go around a little bit. Let's come on. I like Oregon plus 17.5 points as well. I think Georgia wins the game. Here are my 2 score predictions: 31-20. Right. Okay. I could easily see Oregon 2 field goals, a touchdown late, 31-20, not even a close game, stays under. Georgia scores 30 plus points. Like I think that's probably what it will be. 31-20, not a competitive game, but close in the first half.
Yep.
Keep in mind, a lot of jitters, tons of expectations, neutral site game.
Totally agree
Dan
with you on
Lanning's
that.
fired up. Dan Lanning, extremely familiar with Stetson Bennett, extremely familiar with Todd Monken. And I know it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the Jimmies and the Joes. But if anybody knows how to frustrate Stetson Bennett, it's Dan Lanning. Oregon has a top 10 defense. People are saying that their defense will be ranked top 10 in the country at the end of the year. I just think it's a close game, people. Okay. It's a close game in the first half. Oregon's fired up in the locker room. Dan Lanning's juicing up the guys. Kirby probably is fired up for other reasons as well. They probably rely on the run game a little bit, slow down the game, get out of there with the victory. Hopefully no injuries. I just think this is a big number in a week 1 matchup against 2 pretty good teams. So the familiarity of Dan Lanning and Stetson Bennett, the unknowns of just a lot of things in general around this matchup, and then a big spread. I'll take the 17.5 points with Oregon. I think it's 34-21, 31-20, 35-20, around that area. Georgia wins, but Oregon covers. So Jake, you and I,
man, we're on the exact same page on that.
We are. A very intriguing matchup in the Swamp. We talked about the Swamp earlier on in the show. Number 7, Utah, heading down to Gainesville to take on Florida, unranked, 7 p.m., ESPN. Utah is a 3-point favorite on the road. The total's 51.5. Florida, a 3-point dog against a non-conference opponent in a season opener. What world are we living in? This is a very, very interesting game.
Yeah, I mean, tell me your thoughts on this, just because the way I see it, I see the number 7 team in the country. Now, granted, they are going into the Swamp. Yep. It's humid.
Cam Rising's a good quarterback at Utah. Whittingham is a great coach at Utah. Yeah,
crazy environment. It's a night game, which is awesome.
New coach in Billy Napier. A lot of excitement.
But I see Utah winning by more than 3 points, in my opinion. Like, I'm surprised this is not 6.5. Okay. 9, 10 points. I think the coaching staff is there at Florida. I just don't think the personnel is there yet at Florida.
I'm not sold on Anthony Richardson. I mean, people, I'm not. How on earth can you tell me that in a big moment, he is all of a sudden just going to turn it on? I don't know about Billy Napier, right? Like, people, you hate on Florida. I don't hate on Florida. He could be a great hire. I just think it will take time. He's already showing that he's recruiting at an elite level, which is great, but that's going to take time for those kids to get on campus and get into the scheme of things. Florida fans want success yesterday, okay? I just think this might take time. Utah is a good team. And Utah, again, knows. Like, what do you think these teams like Oregon or like Utah or like Cincinnati are thinking when they're going into these SEC matchups? If we keep it close, if we play well, if we can knock them off, man, we are going to be riding throughout the season. Even if they lose, it's like, hey, look, they played Florida pretty damn close in week 1.
Right.
Cincinnati, they beat Arkansas. Hey, this is a group of 5 team. They're getting playoff love at this point. So I think this might mean more for Utah. I'm going to lay the 3 as well. I think they're a better team, more talent, more continuity from a coaching and player perspective. It's just going to take time at Florida, people. I think they might be in for a rough year. So I'll lay the 3 as well. I think Cam Rising has a great game. I think they go into the Swamp and take care of business.
I think so. The only neutralizer in that, I think, is just the Swamp. Other than that, it's Utah all the way.
Yeah. All right, the game of the weekend. Top 5 matchup, number 5 Notre Dame heading to Columbus to take on number 2 Ohio State. It's right after the Chick-fil-A kickoff classic game between Oregon and Georgia, That is at 7 p.m. on ABC. Ohio State, a massive 17-point favorite. The total 59.5. I saw a statistic, Jake. In the last 50 years, Ohio State is 4-0 straight up and against the spread versus Notre Dame. These guys aren't scared. Marcus Freeman, first full year as the head coach at Notre Dame. A new quarterback in Tyler Buchner for Notre Dame. I'm not sure why they're ranked number 5. I don't think they've got the firepower to keep up with Ohio State. Ohio State minus 17. Like, just lay it and watch and enjoy.
I'm totally with you on this. I mean, if you just covered up the name of the team's playing and just said number 5 team is playing the number 2 team, and you saw it was a 17-point favorite.
Yeah. I saw a thing today. It's like the largest point spread between 2 top 5 teams in the last, X amount of years or something. It is disrespectful, but I think it's correct. That's the thing. I think it's correct.
Yeah, it's completely disrespectful because they have a number 5 in front of their name.
Yes.
But to me, they don't deserve the number 5 in front of their name. I'm Ohio State all the way. And
Home game, night game,
I think
number two.
I think they'd run it up too. It's 50. It's 59. It's
absolutely.
59.5 points, but man, they're gonna score. They're gonna do it. I think they're gonna do their thing.
Yeah. And this is a non-conference game. Keep in mind, Notre Dame's an independent school. Ohio State needs to make sure what happened last year when Oregon came in and beat them at home, that doesn't happen again. So there's just a lot of different angles to where you're sitting there going, Ohio State should take care of business in a big way. C.J. Stroud, a Heisman favorite, Travion Henderson, Jackson Smith.
They finished that Rose Bowl off, on a high note. Yeah.
All right, we're both laying the points there, minus 17.5. And the last game to cap this off, Florida State versus LSU Sunday night in New Orleans. That's right, at the Caesars Superdome, 7:30 p.m. ABC. LSU a 2.5-point favorite. The total's 51.5. Brian Kelly's debut as LSU's head coach.
In the Superdome, basically a home game for LSU. As much as it pains me to say this, it's kind of like taking the lesser of two evils.
Okay. It's a good idea.
Yeah, Florida State, I just don't think anything's happening there that's worth, being good at anything. I think I think it's LSU. I think it's LSU. I think they do it at 2.5.
Yeah.
The over, the under. I don't think they really score a whole lot of points here in this one. I'm just going to take the under on this one, just to switch it up. Just switch it up. We've been over on pretty much everything so far, so I'm going to take the under in this one.
You're laying the 2.5 with LSU though.
Yes, correct.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that as well. Okay, we were on the same side for 4 picks, but that's okay. Sometimes that works out. We all go 5-0. Okay.
Are we keeping a running tally of this?
This is accountability 101 here, bud. This is welcome to the big leagues. We keep track here on Punt and Pass inside the 5. We usually give a lock of the week. My lock of the week undoubtedly is Ohio State minus 17. Like that is DB's flip the field special. That will happen for sure. I do like LSU minus the 2.5. I think Brian Kelly has something to prove. Tons of excitement on Bourbon Street. LSU fans, Sunday night, Labor Day weekend. Are you kidding me? That environment is going to be wild. Kelly's keeping the starting quarterback close to his chest. We all think it'll be Jaden Daniels. Florida State did play in week 0. I think that does give them an advantage to kind of work some kinks out. Granted, it was against Duquesne, but this is the talent discrepancy on the field. LSU is better than Florida State. More talent. They'll win by a field goal.
LSU's better. And then I could also make the argument that them playing in week 0 could also hurt them because it gives everybody at LSU
a little scouting tip.
Yeah, you can see it and then hold your cards, tight also at the same time. Okay. You know what you've done, and then you can go and look at the game they just played and knock out a few things on the call sheet, like, oh, hey, they mix the splits in that they didn't show last year, or they switched the front up a few times in a run game. So I think that only helps, in my opinion.
All right, what's your lock? We'll figure out a name for your lock pick. Mine's the Flip the Field special, which was abysmal last year, but we're getting off to a 1-0 start this year.
All right, my lock of the week is the Utah-Florida.
I figured so.
Yeah, I don't see Florida doing it. I don't.
Prom loves Utah, laying 3 in the swamp. I love it, dude. It is football season inside the 5 right there. Head on over to puntpass.com. I'll write a blog. We'll have our picks there. Shout out to Bet Online for all of those odds, totals, spreads, everything else. Jake, that's it, man. Week 1 preview show in the books. Anything on the way out, my man?
Man, let's go. This is going to be a fantastic weekend. Let's get it started.
And you're going dove hunting, is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Got to shoot some birds, man.
Got to shoot some birds, says Jake Fromm on the best weekend of the year. I like it, dude. I like it. To each his own. I like
That's
it.
right.
Absolutely. All right. Shout out to Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app. Go to prizepicks.com. Use the promo code PUNT, P-U-N-T, PUNT. You get a 100% deposit match up to your first $100. Prize Picks is the leading over-under fantasy game. Just download the app, pick over or under on your favorite players, and enjoy the show. You can make your picks in under 30 seconds and win up to 10 times your money in one day. Promo code PUNT, P-U-N-T, PUNT. Follow us on social media at Punt and Pass. I'm at Drew Butler. Jake is at From Jake. Puntandpass.com, the #1 destination for all things college football. I'm sure I'll see a ton of y'all outside the Benz on Saturday. Jake, enjoy shooting those birds, my man. I'll text you over the weekend, and we will talk to you on Monday. See you.
See you.